Hello and welcome to Fuck Your Opinion. This is a movie review show with yours truly, Sean. What I do is I watch movies and I kind of give my honest opinion. And a lot of times I just crap on them. I just shit on them. I say, fuck your opinion, guys. This movie sucks. There are occasional exceptions, but in general, that's what I do on this channel. So if you like watching that, if you like listening to that kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, either cursing me out and saying I'm insane, or saying like Sean, I agree with your opinion, or Sean, fuck your opinion. Whatever way, I can take it, whichever way you guys are thinking. But either way, leave a comment. So today I watched Trial of the Chicago 7 by Aaron Sorkin. Came out 2020, last year. It is a movie that I watched last year because I was super hyped for it. But now that we're heavy into award season, the Golden Globes is this Sunday, Oscars coming up, etc., etc. I thought, now's a good time to revisit this movie and see where my opinions lie if I still agree with how I was feeling. Because let me be honest, when I first watched it, I was extremely disappointed. I am a huge Sorkin fan. Huge, huge, huge. I would say Steven Soderbergh and Aaron Sorkin, while one's a director and one's a writer, those are creative forces, are two people that I will always tune into their movies. I love them to death, and their films in general are some of the strongest, at least some of the ones I love the most. I mean, hell, if you tune into the podcast that we do, Fuck Your Opinion, link in the description below, we did a Molly's Game episode, and I adore that movie. I truly love Molly's Game. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now, and I know a lot of people will say, it's not that great. You know what? Fuck them. I love it. I love all of his other movies too. I love West Wing. I love Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a brilliant film. So when Trial of Chicago 7 got announced, I didn't know anything about the actual trial, but I'm like, okay, Aaron Sorkin. I love Aaron Sorkin. I am down. I am super down. First trailer came out. I'm like, you know what? Let's not judge a book by a cover. I don't think the trailer's good, but like, I'll give Sorkin a chance. Um, Like, he's earned that for me. He's earned I'll give him a chance. And then I watched the movie over the summer and well, sorry, September is when it came out, right? But point is, I watched it and I was like, "Wow, that was super mediocre." And rewatching it again, I'm like, "Wow, that's even worse than I remember." I think when it first came out, because it was in the middle of, well, at least not long after the George Floyd protests, that it all felt like very timely, and that's why it was a little more effective. While right now we're a little more removed from it, not totally, but a little bit more. And whatever salient messages the movie is bringing, and I bet not intentionally, it's not like Aaron Sorkin went, "Oh man, protests are going on. Let me put out this movie." No, it kind of just was timing what went well for him in that regard. But anyways, the point is that rewatching it, normally I'm down with a Sorkin rewatch. I love rewatching his movies. This movie faltered in the rewatch, and it just reminded me why it's not a good movie. It's okay. Do not get me wrong. It's okay. It is mediocre, but it is, I mean, I haven't seen, Newsroom, so I can't compare to that, but besides Newsroom, it is the worst Aaron Sorkin movie that I've seen in probably just I'm a Studio 60. I like Studio 60. I'm a Studio 60 defender, proponent, fan. I will defend that defend that show, and you know what? I can't defend this. That show is better than this. That show is more interesting and has more going on than this movie. Uh, which is not to say that this movie doesn't have important themes and ideas and messages. It's just it's so schlockily schmaltzy done that it's just kind of nauseating, especially when I didn't really know a whole lot about Fred. I sorry, let me scratch that. I didn't know anything about Fred Hampton until before this summer, right? So this was my first time I saw anyone playing Fred Hampton on the screen, right? He doesn't have much of a presence, but he is there, and it does factor into the movie. Now, Judas and the Black Messiah came out what a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago at this point, and that film kicks the crap out of this one. Um, Acting wise, this movie is good. That movie is far better. Cinematography wise, that movie kicks the living ever shit out of this movie. This movie looks like garbage. It just doesn't look good. It just looks so drab and dull, and there's a lack of care in it. It's not quite, "Oh, man, this is a low budget streamer movie," but it reeks well, actually, this is kind of a script thing too. It reeks of, uh, late 2000s, early 2010s Steven Spielberg. I mean, Aaron Sorkin has made it quite clear that this movie was originally written for Steven Spielberg, and like Molly's Game is trying to emulate David Fincher, this movie's trying to emulate Steven Spielberg, for better or for worse, mostly for worse. But it just has that like kind of drab, boring cinematography where none of the shots are particularly interesting, and it doesn't nothing adds to the film. If anything, it just kind of cheapens it all and just makes it unengaging. And you could argue budget, oh budget, but then again, like Judas and the Black Messiah is such a beautiful film. It's so well shot. And I'm not a big guy to harp on cinematography. It's not that I'm actually someone more in the Soderbergh camp or like just fucking light it. If you can make it look great, awesome. But or like Deacons, where Deacons is like, I don't really care about how it looks. I just care about how it flows within the movie, right? I'm not gonna harp too much on cinematography just to say that it doesn't look good. But going off of to what I was saying before, where this is a movie that is kind of written for Steven Spielberg, because of that, a lot of the Sorkin traits are kind of sucked out of it. So his sense of humor, his sense of just how characters talk and interact with each other, um, I just feel like it was kind of lost there. It felt like him translating for Spielberg, and then after Spielberg said, "Oh no, I don't want to do it," he kinda just said, "Oh, well, I don't wanna change any of this. I'll just try my best. I'll try my best, guys. Do the Spielberg movie, like Lincoln or something." And I'm sorry, Sorkin, we come to you for your Sorkinness. If you wanna Here's the thing, if you wanted to do something that deviated what we know you as, that's cool. Steven Soderbergh does that all the time. He's always trying to reinvent himself. But, I mean, there's dozens of directors and filmmakers who reinvent themselves. But if you're gonna do that, A, don't do it in a courtroom drama, which you're literally known for. That's your main thing. So don't do it in that. And B, pick a more audacious angle, something like way more, for lack of a better word, radical and different than what you normally do. I don't know, fuck it. Do a Marvel movie. That would be more of, going out of going, left field than what you did here. This is just you trying to, Spielberg? Question mark? It just doesn't work. It doesn't, um, but that's not to say the movie is bad. I don't think the movie is bad, I just think it's insanely disappointing. Um, because the thing is there are good scenes in this movie, like the scene when Bobby Seale, is gagged in the courtroom is very powerful and very moving. Again, not I'm I just feel spoiled by the Judas and Black Messiah because and other movies that have also recently come out, like I also watched the Amend series that Will Smith did on Netflix, which is also a tremendous piece of work. And it's like both of those combined as well as other things like are essentially trying to say the same message, but are doing it in such a more impactful and strong and salient way where this is something that feels like a relic of the past. Yeah, the thing is this movie is really like a relic of the past that didn't didn't grow up, and it's the one that is less ballsy and audacious than the other Oscar movies, but it's the safe choice. That's like the Academy will pick, "Oh, this has a message that's resonant for the times," but it's like just such a very clear-cut case of good versus evil, where it's like, even for example, Judge Hoffman, played by Frank Langella, people will laud him and say, "Oh, he's a great actor. Oh, he's such a great villain." I thought he was actually terrible. I thought that was such a caricature, and it's not that, racist assholes can't be a caricature. It's just that the performance just felt ludicrous and silly, and for subject material that should be so much more serious and resonant and ground based, that's really strike you at your core. Like it just was like, yeah, of course we're gonna hate him. Who's gonna side with this guy? Um, Other things I'll say, Daniel Pemberton's music. So I'm a big fan of Daniel Pemberton. He did Molly's Game as well. He also did King Arthur and the Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie, and he's done a lot of other scores in recent memory. And he's such a great um composer, and he does a great job here as well. Not amazing, but pretty darn good. Also, I really liked a lot of the I like the editing in this movie when it goes back and forth between time periods. There's a lot of montages in this movie where it will cut between present trial, cut back to the protests, cut back to other time periods, and I really liked all of them. I thought they were really great. Um, Also, in the very beginning, when we're first introduced to everybody, it's a 7-minute sequence that has a lot of exposition to handle. And it's very brilliantly introduces us to everything that's going on. It introduces us to all the characters, and it feels very propulsive and engaging, and has great transitions between all the characters and the scenes, and is just really masterfully done. So that I would applaud and say, "Sorkin, do more like that." I think Sorkin is phenomenal at his openings. I love almost all of his opening scenes. But yeah, like I said, cinematography and kind of off of that, directing is just so mediocre. There are so many actors in this movie. I'm not going to get into all of them. Uh, but just to say, the actors were great. Almost every actor did their role justice, or at least did a solid job with it. Like Mike Rylance, I'm sorry, Mark Rylance. I apologize. I'm not gonna cut that, but Mark Rylance, he was great. Yahya Abdul Mateen II, fantastic as Bobby Seale. He really stole the show. Sasha Baron Cohen was really solid, showing his range. Um, John Carroll Lynch, who often plays like these serial killer types, these creepy serial killers. And here he's like the total opposite. He's a bear. He's like a nice, peaceful dude, like just the nicest, kindest guy. And it's phenomenal that that actor can play both of those roles so convincingly. And he does a tremendous job. Uh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I thought he was okay with what he was given, and same with Eddie Redmayne. I thought both actors were decent with what they were given. I just didn't feel like the parts were particularly well written. Particularly, well, actually, I don't want to say particularly. They were both. eh. I didn't It's kinda like they were both conflicted characters that Sorkin wants you to kind of root for and kind of juggle everything with them, juggle the morals and ethics and philosophy with them. Um, where in reality, they're just kinda like both little dirtbags throughout the whole movie that have very little integrity, and at the end, you go, "Oh, yeah, you stood up. You did something good at the end," but it's not like you did something amazing. Like, we shouldn't really be applauding you. Like, listen, Sacha Baron Cohen's the character that you root for at the end of the day, not those 2. Anyways, yeah, that's the movie. Don't wanna talk too much more about it because it doesn't really deserve it. Like I said, I'm not trying to diss anybody in the movie, 'cause they all have fantastic work. They've all done fantastic work, and like I said, I'm a big Sorkin guy, but this movie is very disappointing, and if you want, subject material that deals with either civil rights or the '60s, um, that kinda stuff, there are so many other movies and content that takes that kind of fight and that kind of struggle and just does such a stronger job at it. Yeah. Rating, like 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, eh. All right, well, that's the show. Thank you for watching. Fuck your opinion. Like I said before, make sure to like and subscribe and comment if you really hate me. And I also have a podcast, like I mentioned before, Fuck Your Opinion. You can find it on Spotify, all the major platforms, but the link is in the description below. So check it out.